Major upset was this past weekend, and 2 players sat at the apex of the tournament, proving to us that they were not going anywhere, despite doubts about them floating around in the aftermath of Smash Summit 6. Today we'll be talking about MKLeo and Spargo, and they proved their haters wrong. I could have made a bracket recap about the top 8 of Major Upset, and let me know if you want me to, I can make that on Thursday. However, I decided to dedicate this video to Leo and Spargo specifically because they've been at the forefront of a much more divisive conversation topic as of late. Namely, how good are these supposed top 2 in the world? Looking back at Smash Summit 6, Spargo actually received last place at 13th, and Leo got an extremely disappointing result as well, not even making top 8 as he got 9th after losing to Akala. Now, I actually made a whole video about all things MKLeo, and while I could rehash some of the points I made there, I won't waste our time. I'll start by going over Spargo's performance this weekend, as I believe there is much more to talk about with Spargo, and because he ended up being the winner of Major Upset. Spargo started off the weekend strong, blowing through his pool and escaping it with a decisive 2-0 win over Hungrybox, who he just fought at Summit like last week. Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good parry. We were seeing Spargo parry a couple of those.
Spargo's run is the culmination of impressive when it comes to this era of Smash Bros. Let's get down to the list. First, Spargo defeated Jojo Dahoba, one of the best Toon Link players in NA, before moving on to defeat MK Big Boss, MKLeo's doubles and training partner, in a 3-0 victory. Interestingly enough, this is the only set of the entire tournament that Spargo used Aegis for the entire set, although he did bring it out in Game 1 against Riddles before going Cloud for the other 2 games of that set. This just shows the trend of Spargo much preferring Aegis versus Rob rather than Cloud, one of the only matchups where Spargo still uses the character that you could say he himself pioneered. Moving on from that, we have an impressive 3-0 win over Ouch, winner of Daddy's Den X Supreme, which we discussed in this video here. While no one would call this an upset, Ouch is still at least a top 50 player, and such a decisive win is impressive nonetheless. Next, we have a truly interesting one, Spargo's win over Big D. You all likely know Big D by now, at the very least by his 3rd place finish at Summit, despite being the 12th seed and, you know, an Ice Climbers man. You may also know him from his high placements at other tourneys such as Gommel 2023, Mainstage 2022, and Eugene Bound. Aside from this set, Spargo and Big D had only played once before, at the aforementioned Mainstage 2022 in Losers Finals, where Spargo won 3-0. Even though Big D did famously well at Summit and Spargo infamously poorly, the 2 of them never actually fought at Summit, and it was unknown if Big D had leveled up enough or if Spargo was washed by this point. And you see, that's the whole point of this run, and this video. The idea that Spargo is washed. This idea has mostly been circling around after Summit and is usually perpetuated by people easily swayed by recency bias. And boy did Spargo prove them wrong.
Upset in the winner's side.
Climb hazard!
And there it is.
I mean, it's the biggest option. It's like you can face either way. Climb hazard just covers so much space. You just do it on reaction.
Spargo defeated Big D handedly in a 3-0 set, and moved on to Winners Finals to face his rival then and now, MKLeo. But before we discuss how their confrontation went, let's swerve now and take a look at MKLeo's bracket path to make it to Winners Finals. MKLeo had a similar sweep through his pools, defeating Capsize to make it out of his pool. I mentioned this set in particular because this is the only recorded time in the entire tournament that MKLeo used Byleth. For the entire rest of the tournament, MKLeo went 1 character and 1 character only. So, who did Leo play? After all, Leo said he was dropping Aegis on his Twitter, right? You may naturally assume he must have gone Joker, or perhaps he pulled out the Meta Knight, or maybe even the Rob? Well, remember that part where I mentioned that Leo said he was dropping Aegis?
So that was a fucking lie.
MKLeo, other than his set with Capsize, went solo Aegis the entire rest of the tournament. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea why. Though my personal theory is that MKLeo, just like Spargo, wanted to prove the haters wrong. After all, Aegis is perhaps Leo's least popular character. It feels like whenever he plays them, there are a cavalcade of comments and naysayers saying how the character isn't for him, or that they want the Joker or the Byleth back, or that Leo should just drop Aegis already. Leo has never seemed affected by these remarks, but I'd bet that he is at least a little bit. After all, Leo's human, just like the rest of us. And whether or not you prefer Joker, or Byleth, or Aegis, the simple truth is that Leo should play whoever the hell Leo wants to play. and anyone that feels entitled to choose his character for him needs to stop making it about themselves and let the man do what he wants to. I think Leo may have gone Aegis to prove all the haters of his Aegis wrong, to show that he is good with them, to show that they are indeed busted, and to show that he can truly do great things with any character. At least that's just my personal theory. Ranting aside, Leo went on to defeat Loaf in his first set of top 64 in a 3-1 victory. Loaf, one of the top Midwest players and a top 8 finisher of Sweet Spot 7, was able to take a game, but Leo pulled through anyways.
Get the wheels up.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a second. Nah.
Okay. Leo was like, you thought, buddy.
Leo then went on to 3-0 both Dark Wizzy.
Let's see, and there it is right there on cue, gets the stock off.
All right, so please don't die when I say this, Wizzy. Wizzy?
Maybe just don't say it. Hold on.
No, he's really good.
Okay.
No!
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 I told you to just stop talking.
And Luda, one of the hidden bosses at Major Upset this weekend, who defeated Esam, Jackal, and Quinn.
Okay, nice, fair right here, and the forward side, the up smash.
We saw that earlier, and MK Leo put it to the...
Dark Wizzy, on the other hand, had been making a slow but steady comeback since his return to competitive play. After making out of top 64, Leo had to fight Kurama in winter semis. Leo versus Kurama is a match as old as time, and Leo is dead set on making sure that Kurama's win over him at Frostbite is the only win that Kurama ever gets on him.
Nice smart recovery. Dizzy up smash raw.
That's
It
right.
will kill.
Leo dispatched of Kurama in a 3-1 victory, and went on to face Spargo in winners finals. Now, some things in Smash are changing. Orgs we took for granted are gone. New orgs are picking up vast talents. Players are constantly rising to the top that we never expected to see. But as much as things change, the more they stay the same. MK Leo and Spargo, fighting in the apex of a good-ass tournament.
Ludwig Invitational, okay? If your favorite player can do that, come talk to me, all right? Whoa, the damn minute, and the KO off the top is gonna do it.
And I'll tell you what, it's appropriate that that percentage was at 69 when it ended, because that was damn sexy what he just did right there.
In the end, MK Leo was the one who won over Spargo in a Game 5 set, sending Spargo to losers finals to face Riddles, the Kazuya Mishima menace. In the losers finals, as we discussed before, Spargo actually opened with Aegis, the only time other than his MK Big Boss set that he played someone other than Cloud. However, after winning Game 1, Spargo made the odd choice to switch to Cloud, and then proceeded to win twice with him, defeating Riddles in a 3-0 victory. Talk about a power move.
Hard for Kazuya to work around, but if you're in Tansel, then who the hell cares? Back air's gonna close it out in a 3-0 finish. Spargo, I'm already out of my seat. Please shake my hand, sir.
Now Spargo and Leo were back in Grands, and this time things would go very differently. In both sets of Grand Finals, Leo was only able to take one game, with Spargo winning the first set of Grands in a 3-1 and the second set in a 3-0. And with that, Spargo took major upset.
Games together, and Spargo has shown the importance of adaptation, and that's gonna do it. Spargo with the pop-off is your major upset. Grand Finals champion, taking it over, MK Leo.
It's odd to think that just a week ago, some people considered both of these players to be washed. It's easy to get caught up in the recency bias and tournament results of the here and now, but we should all remember that people are allowed to have slumps, and a true top player will always rebound from them. Oh, and next time you doubt either one of these players, they're coming for you next. I've been RisterMice. Please consider following my Twitch, and thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.